everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another video. Yes, I am just wearing this because I am very cold and it's just cozy, and yeah. But in today's video I'm going to be doing a review of a book I read that I absolutely adored. That is Notes on an Execution by Danya Kukafka. Hope I pronounced your name right. I gave this 5 stars. This book was phenomenal. Like, this book was like, wow. I so recommend it. It's like really like, it's like mentally like stimulating, and it fully like capsulated me, gripped me. I could not put this book down. And it's like weird because at the same time I really didn't want it to end, because I just wanted to like revel in like the characters and the writing and the messages and the plot, and like, but I was just like, I needed to finish it as well. But this is one I would definitely be giving a reread, because I just felt there's more I can get from it, and it was just so well put together. Like, wow. Basically the plot is we following a prisoner, Ansel Packer. He wakes up and it's 12 hours before he is due to be executed, and we follow him during this day with his thoughts and plans and recollections of his life, and this is in like second person format, so it's like you did this and you did that, which first of all I was like, I don't really know why, but then I was like, oh my god, this is so good. And then interspersed between these chapters from his perspective are third person POVs from 3 different women that their lives were briefly but fundamentally touched by Ansel. That is his mother, Lavender. He's a fellow child in the same orphanage, and the person that is the detective who puts him away for serial murders, Saffron or Safi, and the twin sister of his wife, Hazel. And then we get a glimpse into each of their lives as the narrative unfolds, from his birth to death, and it touches on like many things and messages. What I think I loved most was the pacing, that I just was like, Danya, wow. Like, I was like, at the end I was just like, how is this so well put together? Like, literally, like, what? Like, it's exceptional. So like the formatting of like the chapters and how it unfolds is like and how it's like pieced together is literally like perfection. And like we get enough detail, and like so we can see the complexity of each character, and like peripheral ones as well within the ones from their perspectives. And like it's literally, it's the perfect like amount of intrigue. It's like, so you're following on from like one person's perspective, and like whilst that's happening, the lives and what's happening with other people are like, they're in your head still. And even though like some are like longer and shorter and stuff, it's such a good like biting point sort of like thing, where like you have enough detail that you're invested in what's happening, but also it's not too much that you're taken out of the other storylines. And the way they fit together, and like there's sort of like connections with other characters sort of, it's just amazing. Like, oh my gosh. And yeah, so then when you get back to the other characters that you're thinking of, it just fits so well together. So, and like I was not bored at any point in this. The detail is like the perfect amount, so I'm just like, well done. So good. And like, I am not a thriller reader like at all. The last one I read was Paper Ghost by Julia Herberlin, and this was actually my worst book of 2022. I really did not like it. So I was a little bit apprehensive going into it because I was like, am I gonna like this genre? But oh my, I was hurt from the start. Literally, as it went on, I just became more and more invested, and this is literally like the epitome of a page turner. Like it literally, it turns itself, or like it scrolls, because I read it digitally, but like, you know what I mean. It's like, wow, the like lives of the characters, and the plot twist, and like the whole atmosphere is just like, it encapsulates your brain, and you're like, you have to read on. There were many points where I was like, I had like a fist in my throat. Like I literally was like on the verge of tears, but I had like goosebumps. Like my whole body was full of like goosebumps. And like, oh my god, and like the twists and revelations are just like sometimes like jaw dropping. I'm just like, hold on a sec, rewind. Danya, I'm sorry, but like, yeah, and the writing is like, it's literally like, some of it is really beautiful and lyrical and like really, really nice. And I feel like this is, it's strange because like, you wouldn't expect it for like a thriller or like something that deals with the themes of this, but like it really adds well. I feel like it just adds to the whole nuance of what the book is trying to do, I think. And most of the violence is sort of happens like off the page in a way, and it's not really that graphic, which I really appreciated. Like it does mention like some trigger warning topics, like domestic abuse, violence, death, animal death, murder, like sexual content, mental illness and grief, but like it's mostly off of the page, and none of it is graphic. It's more just like moderate, and I really like appreciated this aspect of it, and it just was like, thank you. And the messages and discussions on like this idea of morality and the big what ifs in life, justice, redemption, and the death penalty is just like, they're so well put forward. Different opinions from different people and different types of people, and it really, really makes you think and like question things yourself, which is like amazing. And like this book, it made me like want to like write like an essay, and like when you read a book and it makes you want to write an essay about it, that is a very, very interesting book. And it's just, yeah, they're like, there's so much nuance and multiple perspective, arguments are varied, and you really are like made to examine your own philosophies and thoughts and come to like conclusions on your own. And then Kukafka doesn't spell out or like spoon feed you what she wants you to think or get out of the book like at all. The reader really does the like investigating and comes to terms with your own conclusions about what is the right and wrong thing. And then the main character Ansel isn't really written as an explicitly sympathetic way, which I really, really loved, and it adds to like the nuance and like speculation. And I think that including the last paragraph really, really like puts this point forward, how like you are sympathetic to him, definitely, but that isn't really what the whole thing is about. It's about the nuance, and by including that last paragraph, it really, really adds to this, and I think that is just like literally like the cherry on the top. Like it was really, really great. And I was saying about Ansel's theory was a little bit over mentioned sometimes, but it was really, really like interesting. Something that is like touched on the notion of like choices and how like memories impact who we are, and like it's sort of like a mix of good and evil. Like we're all a mixture. Like it's like none of us are all good or all evil. Like we're all a mixture. And then these are just like 2 quotes that from it that I felt was really interesting about the theory. It says, "Your theory is more an exploration of the most inherent human truth. No one is all bad, no one is all good. We live as equals in the murky grey between. Memory as the thing that makes us individual, as the thing that separates my human consciousness from yours. I have this idea, this theory, I guess. There is no such thing as good or evil. Instead, we have memory and choice, and we all live at various points on the spectrum between. We are created by what has happened to us, combined with who we choose to be." I'm just like, yeah, you're a murderer, but your brain is like really interesting. And it just throws up so many discussions, and it's like really wow. I was just say my only reservation, but it doesn't negate the full 5 stars this book deserves, is that the sex scenes were there is very little of them, but I did feel like it was a little unnecessary, and it cheapened it a little bit, but they don't drag on, and they were left aside as the book went on, so definitely it's not a major thing. It's just a little point that I do thought I wanted to mention. And then yeah, that is basically my review of this book, that I really so recommend it. And then I just thought I'd just talk about a few quotes that really stuck out to me, because there was a lot. I read this digitally, but I would love to get a physical copy and actually like underline and maybe like do marginally like writing and stuff, because it's definitely one that like is really something that engages your brain, and it throws up so many questions and topics and so many things to talk about. So yeah, but these are some quotes. "The intoxicating unknown that sits always between 2 people. The elephant has a psychopath smile, alive in one moment, just an impression in the next." Here is Ansel is talking about a damp patch on the ceiling that looks like an elephant. "It was irresistible, the almost. She cried for the thing she had wanted, what she couldn't even picture anymore. It was like she'd held her own desire too long in the palm of her hand, and it was now just an object, void of meaning, useless and taking up space. I wonder about choices, how we resent them, and how we regret them even as we watch them grow. Thought is the purest thing you can leave behind. Love was a thing that could move you and charge you, Safi knew, a mysterious force that made you different and better and warmer and whole. Joy is a cousin of love. You read it once. If you cannot feel love, there is at least this weaker relative, tantalizing in memory. Grief was a hole, a portal to nothing. It was a shock of blinding sun, a burst of remembering, sandals on pavement, a sleepy back seat, nails painted on the bathroom floor. Grief was a loneliness that felt like a planet. It was an ambitious concept, justice, the idea that your lot in life could be based on your own choices. The past was a thing you could open like a box, gaze down on with starry eyes, but it was too dangerous to step inside. The future was a mystery, unknowable. The good parts of the story are nowhere near the end. It will be a tragedy, if we were defined only by the things we left behind. So yeah, and there's definitely more. These are just the ones that like really stood out to me. So yeah, I try not to explain the plot too much because I feel it's one that is a really rewarding experience as you go along and you piece things together and like things are making sense, and it's more about the questioning and the nuance of what the messages, I guess, is a major part of it. but I so recommend this book, and I really want to read some more of Danya Kukafka's works, because this book was just like wow. So yeah, this is one of my 2 best books I read in January. And yeah, hope you enjoy this video. Please read this book, and I shall see you very soon. Bye bye.